So, what I'm going to try and do is show you how to take some photos that look like this, specifically. As you can see on screen right now, we've got a Lincoln set that's lit pretty decently in my opinion, and I know that is the type of lighting that some people may or may not want, so I figured I would do my best to go about showing how to do it. Apologies for the camera moving. It's the tripod shaking. So we'll start with this right here. Up top, you can see we have this one overhead light, and then on the camera itself, we have the flash with a couple pieces of paper in front of it, and then we've got 1, 2, 3 lights accompanied by 1, 2, 3 reflective surfaces. They're mirrors. One of them slipped backwards, but those mirrors themselves are only there to just act as little lights. They take place of where I can't physically put another light at. Alright, so I've adjusted my lights over there in the background and I've pulled it all down. I also adjusted the mirrors a little bit to try to make it easier to put this all back together. So what we have going on right now specifically is these 3 lights are going, and then we've got one mirror set up right now, as you guys can see, and this mirror for the most part is being lit off of this light, I do believe. Yeah, as you can see, when I'm coming in playing around with it, it's messing with that quite a bit. So we're going to go through, set that up as number 1, and then over here on his face, it's kind of hard, I can't really zoom in right now, but it gets a little bit dark later on once you start blending things in. So what I'm going to do is come through and throw on one more mirror right up in front. And that looks pretty good right there. Got a nice little bit of shadow going on up around the 67, and got a nice little level of contrast there, as well as Lincoln himself seems to be lit pretty decently. From there, I'm going to come through and put that little light on afterwards. Got that little mirror. We're hitting it from a couple of different angles, getting a bunch of stuff done, but it just looks good. It looks good. It highlights a lot of different things. It shows a lot of the surface, so and then I'll add that on. From there, that looks like a pretty decent usable photo at this point. So you guys can see exactly what's going on now. I'm going to go through, readjust really quick, and then I'll bring you back in and we can zoom in as we're taking the photo, and we'll look at it through the camera screen, since I can't record video and do all that at the same time right now. So give me just a second and I'll get you set back up. Start switching between modes. Okay. Now I'm going to come up here and pull this back up. And now what we can do is we can come through and we can zoom in and start working on fine-tuning focus just the tiniest little bit if it needs it. Okay. So as you can see, coming through, checking focus really quick. And once focus looks decent enough, we will take the photo. Well, let's check exposure first. Exposure looks pretty decent. Okay, so now as the camera fires here, I'm going to come through and put my hand over in front of the flash. What that's going to do is it's going to make sure none of the direct flash hits the coin as far as I can tell, and most of it will just be reflected off the walls back onto the coin, and that'll give me the tiniest little bit of freeze of frame right now. That way if anything was moving or wiggling about, I shouldn't have too many issues. As you can see, taking a look at the raw right now, it'll get processed a little bit, but the goal is to not have to process it too much. As you can see, it doesn't look half bad. I might be able to adjust it a little bit or something, help out with the focus maybe. There we go. That looks a lot better right there. Go through. I don't know about that. Turn it back down. It seems a little bright to me. We'll go through and fire it now. As you can see, the photo looks pretty decent. I'll display the results on screen right now if I'm able to. That gives you some kind of an idea how that works. Now, let me go through, pull this one out of the way. And get this flipped. And now that I've moved the mirror out of the way, I'm going to come in and get this coin flipped. This would probably be a lot better to do with some gloves, to be honest, and not be doing it with just your fingers. But this is not an expensive coin as far as I can tell, so alright, now you guys have somewhat of an idea of what it looks like right there. What I'm going to go through and do is give it a quick couple of rotations, because you'll be able to see that different rotations give it almost a completely different look depending on how the luster bounces back off of everything. come through and throw my little highlight on. Hopefully that's showing up somewhere over there. Yep, I think I see it. Right there. Okay. Alright, figured bring you back over, and now that it's set up like this, we'll change it back into the regular mode. And now we can go in and check focus on this. Make sure it looks pretty decent. Which so far to me it is. Yep. Looks good enough. Now I'll go through, check it one more time, we'll fire it. Once again, I've got my hand over the flash, so it's bouncing back off the wall behind me. That seemed to be do a pretty decent job. Come back in, check it out. Looks a little bit dark. Go through and fix that. Try it again. And we'll take a look at this one. See if it looks any better. It's definitely still dark. We'll get a shot with the rotation while it has the other mirror on there, see if maybe that does anything. What a fire. There we go. Brighten it up. Make sure that I cover the flash again. And still just a little bit dim. I'm going to come through and brighten it up just a tad bit more. Alright, and I'll throw this image up on screen. It's a little bit hot, but at least we're able to see into the darks again now. Not everything's getting lost in this shadowy bit. Yeah. So, there you go. If you really don't have a lot of distance between your lens and the coin itself, then yeah, this can potentially be an easier way to do things. But realistically, the easiest way is to just use lights.